I'm amazed how easily you can move such a giant shield around like it's nothing.
Really? It's not actually as heavy as it looks.
It's really reassuring to have someone like you protecting us, though.
You know, I guess I never realized it before, but looking back, I've always been the sort to put myself in harm's way to protect those around me, even before I joined the Eldorman and Sea Guard. So in a way, using this shield to keep you all safe feels like it's what I was meant to do.
You don't need to worry about protecting me. I don't plan on relying on you.
That's okay. It doesn't matter if you do or not. I don't protect people because they ask me to. I do it because I want to, and because I think it's the right thing to do. That goes for you too, Dohalim.
Me?
Yes. You see, you and I both want the same thing. We have the same goal. That means it's in my best interest to continue to protect and keep you safe as well. Even now.
I'm not sure how much protecting I'll need either, but I appreciate the thought. I'm sure you'll do us proud, Kisara.
Right. You can all count on me.
What was Kelzalek even after in the end?
Isn't it obvious? Clearly he wanted the throne for himself, and was gonna have his goons execute Dohalim to get it.
He had to have known he couldn't hope to defeat a lord. He should have run while he had the chance, instead of holding himself up in the palace.
Maybe he thought he couldn't run? Either way, the outcome's the same.
So he got desperate and decided to go for broke?
One might argue that he was another victim of mine, in a sense.
Huh?
There is no greater calling in life to a Renin than the crown contest, yet I refused to take part. The shock he felt at that must have been truly immense, enough to drive him to revolt, even though doing so meant defying Renin hierarchy.
I know I've said this before, but Danans and Renins wouldn't coexist here if it wasn't for your stance.
But that was no lofty idealism on my part, nor do I feel any pride at what occurred.
Spare us the pity party. You literally just joined us to uphold those ideals.
Shion!
No, she is absolutely correct. I shall speak no more of my misgivings.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
Mahag Sar. That makes 4 out of the 5 realms that I've visited now.
I wonder what kind of lord we're gonna find there.
It doesn't matter. If they try to get in our way, we'll take them down and that'll be that.
No choice.
Arrow Squall! Ray!
Here I come!
If they rush you, you gotta jump for cover, okay? Sword Steel!
Rising Falcon! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
Ready and
Rising
ready.
Wyvern!
Glacial
Rising
Spear.
Falcon!
Piercing
First
Hook.
strike! Strike!
Together, that wasn't even a problem.
It'll be a breeze. Get in, get out.
Denied! Ribbon You're mine! Slice! Demon Fang! Take this! You're on! You're finished! Eat this!
I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara!
Fan! Rising Wyvern! Strike! Swallow Blade! Take this! You're finished! Rising Falcon! You're mine! Slice! Demon Fang!
Great! Amazing! I was only trying to be nice.
So those are Danon after all. Something you want to say? Not so long as you keep them quiet. Nicely done.
Maybe something's going on in the forest.
We seem to have come across something a little unusual. This one will be difficult to predict.
Where are you going? Here's a raging cascade!
Here I come! Swallow!
Leave the charges to me.
Astral energy! Cyan
You're
instant!
mine! This is all mine!
Do it!
I'll thank you.
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
A charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
Thank you! Burn in hell!
Now! Demons descend!
Flashing Fang!
Hey, I'm pretty lucky. There's something in the water. I didn't realize there was a pond here.
Yeah, this is Taka Pond. And it happened to have saved my life once upon a time.
What do you mean?
As a kid, I survived life under the past lords by escaping here when I needed to. It's terrible to swim in, but great for catching a bite for dinner away from Renin eyes. Bear in mind, our rations back then weren't enough to live off of. You had to take matters into your own hands if you wanted enough food to survive.
But how did you catch them? With your bare hands?
That might take a while. Fish are prone to swim away at the first sign of trouble. I'd put bait or a lure on a line and use it with a fishing rod. You must not be familiar with fishing if this sounds new to you. Here, let me show you how it's done. And that's all there is to it.
Wow. It seems like you need to have good reflexes to catch anything. I don't know if it's really for me. Kisara? I think I've seen enough.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm just in my own little world when I go fishing.
Looks like we're going to be here for a while.
That's how fishing goes. You wait for a bite, and then the real battle begins. Miguel told me that different fish live in different regions, and you have to pick the right rod and lure for what you're hoping to catch.
But that doesn't change the fact it's a giant time sink.
Of course, each fish has its own unique flavor, too. And some of them are supposed to be extremely delicious.
When you put it like that, maybe it's worth me trying my hand at fishing after all.
You're just in it for the food.
I was hoping we'd get to fish during our travels. And it just so happens I made sure to grab my brother's old rod before I left Vicente. So, if you ever feel like fishing when we've got a little downtime, just let me know.
Good to hear. Thanks for showing us. Okay!
I'm always amazed what healing arts can do.
Just doing my job. No need to thank me.
Hey. Is it just me, or have those two barely spoken a single word to one another?
I know, right? But after everything that happened with Miguel, is it really any wonder?
Kinda puts a damper on the whole journey though, huh? How long do you think they're gonna keep this up?
If it bothers you that much, why don't you ask them?
Why do I have to ask?
How come you walk together like that?
She really doesn't beat around the bush.
You mean Kisara and myself?
You hadn't noticed? You've been practically joined at the hip ever since we left Vicente.
I guess it's force of habit, most likely. I was always ready to protect him, should the need arise. It sort of came with the job description.
Right. From being in the Elder Menancia Guard. Although, Dohalim's pretty capable of defending himself, isn't he?
Having guards doesn't necessarily mean the one being guarded is weak. No one's perfect all the time.
Even so, it's not like they're entirely wrong, Kisara. You're no longer in my employ, after all.
I don't know. I mean, if it's what she's used to and you're both comfortable with it, then who are we to judge?
But she doesn't serve him anymore. It isn't normal for her to keep following him around like she still does.
You know, she's probably right. And a lot has changed over the last few days. I guess it wouldn't hurt to rethink our relationship in light of the new circumstances. Perhaps I'll give it some thought after all. Does that sound all right by you?
Of course.
You might want to stop asking his permission for every little thing while you're at it.
Sorry. It's not that easy, shaking off old habits. I'll probably need a little time to get fully used to it. I've noticed that sometimes we come across enemies who fight like you, and try to dodge our attacks at the last second.
I hate those guys. I can get some hits in when they move into attack, but otherwise they slip past damn near everything else I throw at them.
If what you're seeking is a way to more reliably hit them, there is a solution.
Try to outclass them on reflexes?
I possess the ability to command Earth elemental beings to some extent. They emerge as the land itself and take root on my command. They will swiftly bind the enemies, at which point you can dispatch them.
Huh?
What he means is that he can make plants grow to hold the enemies in place. At least I think that's probably what he's saying.
I'm glad at least one of us understands him. So basically, if we find an enemy that likes to dodge, we should let Dohalim handle it.
I shall do what I can within my modest means to help.
You can never... be too prepared. But did we have to spend so much? Why are you looking at me like that?
That armor you wear is standard issue for the Menancian Guard, right?
Originally, I've added some flair to it in a lot of places.
I noticed, especially with that open back.
We guardsmen pride ourselves on never showing our back to our enemies. It's my way of making myself live up to that. Plus, it makes it that much lighter and easier to maintain.
Dohalim, do you have anything to say about this?
Every guardsman is allowed to wear their armor as they see fit.
And you, La?
Huh? Why are you asking me?
Dohalim, care if I hang out for a while? You worried about what's going on with Menancia?
What makes you think that?
Well, you were speaking to Kisara earlier, weren't you?
It's rude to listen in on others, you know.
Sorry. I didn't hear what you two were actually talking about, though. I just figured it was Menancia since it was the two of you.
I am but a former lord who has abandoned his post. I'm no longer in a position to lead the realm in any capacity whatsoever. Yet Kisara still seeks out my opinions, knowing full well that is the case. This despite the fact I am no longer her master either.
Couldn't it be precisely because you're not her master anymore? It's natural for friends to want to hear each other's opinions.
I hadn't considered that possibility.
It's funny what you miss sometimes.
Hardly uncommon among artistic types such as myself. When lordships are decided based solely on one's astral energy, it can lead to funny results.
But even so, you still took your job as lord seriously, didn't you?
Certainly. I learned to perform my functions. However, I was less interested in ruling, so much as avoiding life and death decisions. Of course, such a mentality in the end led only to sickening pain and death taking place elsewhere out of sight. I pretended not to see or hear any of it, content to let our supposed peace and equality keep me blind and deaf to reality. I was a fool.
But you're making amends.
I would like to think so. The path ahead is dark, yet I still walk on. I merely pray that I shan't fall down any holes along the way. We'd best get ready for tomorrow. Shall we get moving? Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
I just noticed none of you other Danans have spirit cores. Why is that?
Both of my parents were part of the resistance in Calaglia. In fact, my birth was kept a secret from the Renans.
Mine too. We always lived in hiding, so I never had a spirit core embedded in me like I was supposed to.
What about you, Alphen? You were a slave in Calaglia before all this, weren't you?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure why I don't have one. All the other Danan slaves around me did. I was the only exception. They tended to keep their distance from me to avoid attracting any attention from the soldiers, because of my mask and all. What about you, Kisara? Do you still have your spirit core?
No. I was able to find a good Renan doctor who's sympathetic to our kind, and had them remove it before I left. They did such a great job, the procedure didn't even leave a scar.
One of the benefits of coexistence, huh?
I know that once the spirit vessel was shut down, there wasn't much need for me to hurry. But still, I didn't like having that mark of servitude lingering on me any longer than I had to. It may sound a little strange to hear me say this, but I'm just me now. Not a guardsman or a slave. I'm my own woman. And this is my chance to have a new beginning.
This sure is one rugged road. You'd think they'd keep this at least a little better maintained, right?
Why spend energy fixing that which is rarely used? Repairs require time and effort, which in our world means slaves, often in great numbers. For you, it may be a simple request, but that can quickly become another's difficult burden. Nobody gains anything without someone expending effort.
And you know, somehow that someone always ends up being a Danon, while the Renans are the ones who gain.
True enough. Ideally, in a perfect world, I think it's only fair that the ones who need it should be the ones to perform the work.
However, when doing so could be dangerous like it is here, there are many who would prefer that it be others who risk their lives in their stead.
So, what you're saying is that people will just put up with the inconvenience until someone else comes along to fix it for them?
Indeed. And it is those who can no longer bear that feeling that inevitably take action. Much like the Danons in our group do so now. As strange as it may be to hear such a thing from the likes of myself.
It's true that most of the Danons in Calaglia have been resigned to just accepting things as they are. Still, we can't just blame them for...
What are you making that face for? You're not worn out already, are you?
Nah, just regretting I ever said anything in the first place.
I won't forgive you! Take it! Demon Fang! Negative gate! Come one, come all!
I'm not so good with airborne targets.
Demon Fang! You're mine!
Flying free! If they just sit still!
Seal, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
Resonate with the earth! Come on, Demon Fang!
More where that came from.
You're mine! It's over! With the earth! Rising Fang! You're finished! Here I come! Slash! Air pressure!
Tornado!
Take this! Slash! Demon, this one's all mine!
I'm only getting tested.
Clear for us to pass!
In here!
Demon Fang!
Primed and ready! Magic is on! This one's mine! In here!
Yours are not the skills of just any warrior.
Save your now! We have to move.
Driven and talented.
Air thrust!
Quite necessary when creating weaponry.
All right.
There's nowhere to run from my heart. When he slows down, that's our chance. Demon Fang!
Leave the agile one to me.
You're on!
In a bind?
Let's get you off this way!
You're finished!
Blah, blah, blah!
Demon Fang!
In here!
Now we're never. In a bind?
And again!
No escape!
Prepare to be sealed, though, please.
Try harder!
Actually, perhaps bound is more appropriate.
Let's talk any more doing!
You're finished!
Into the wind!
Demon
In here!
Take this!
Slash! No further! Swallow Blade! Demon Fang!
Blazing storm!
Take this! Slash! Raging Demon Fang! Try this!
Take
Inferno Torrent!
Air thrust!
You're finished!
Raging in a bind?
Slash! Demon Fang! Rising Wyvern! No! Swallow Blade! Demon Fang!
Do it! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Man, I'm all pumped up!
I'm ready! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet and...
Got some interesting moves there, Dohalim. I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm simply glad to hear that I can make myself useful to you all. Huh?
What's wrong?
We seem to have come across some rather unusual objects.
What, you mean that pile of garbage?
No mere garbage, I assure you. Still, I've never seen anything shaped like it before. I'm intrigued.
Are you curious about this stuff, Rinwell?
Yeah. I think he might have found some old Danon relics. They look like the remains of a bunch of objects that disappeared after the Renans first invaded.
And yet here I am, holding them without so much as a second thought. I imagine the sight must be unsettling to you.
Not really, just that it must be nice to be a Renan who has time to indulge in stuff like that, unlike the rest of us.
Are you interested in this stuff too, Dohalim?
Charmed may be a better turn of phrase. I simply love objects that can give me a sense of what their maker was thinking, the history that went into their creation. You see, we Renans have hardly any such objects that trace back to our distant past.
I still don't understand what you two find so intriguing about it, though.
Why not? We're talking about our own culture here.
I get that, but it's not like this stuff is any use now, does it? It's just old. Real old.
Oh, but it does. Holding it in your hands like this, one can feel and engage with the distant past in a way no history book can ever accomplish.
I'll take your word for it. Well, seeing as it's Danon history, just make sure you're careful with it. All right, Dohalim?
But of course. There's history.
I've been doing really great lately.
Visibility along this path will remain limited for some time. Take care not to get ambushed.
I'm surprised you know the terrain here so well. Lords don't strike me as having much time for wandering in the woods.
Sometimes I would take strolls along here when I wished to be alone.
You always did have a bad habit of disappearing without telling any of us guardsmen.
Forgive you!
You're mine! Fly!
In a vine?
Arrow squall!
Damn it!
My
You're finished! You got flyers!
I've got it! Let a marksman handle it!
Demon Fang! All yours! Take this! Swallow Blade! You picked the wrong choice! Swallow Blade! Demon Fang! Demon Fang! You're mine!
Do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
That's some power you wield.
You're the one who did the heavy lifting.
It's so hilly around here. I can feel my feet getting blisters.
That's mountain hiking for you. It can be pretty tough if you're not used to these sorts of trails.
I take it you're comfortable with them then?
Oh yeah. We used to run up and down these slopes all the time for our training exercises.
Damn. You weren't messing around.
Coming through!
You're mine!
Where are you going? Armor won't save you! Far enough!
I've got it!
Begin!
It's a duel of the arts!
Try harder!
Pesky airborne scoundrels!
Sounds like a job for yours truly! I'm only getting weak now!
Demon Fang!
Negative six! Extinguish darkness!
Not today!
Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
North kick! Demon Fang! I'm ready! Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
See you continue on in that vein.
Yes, my lady?
Something you wanted to say?
These little ones are hardly worth our time.
Thank you.
You say
Cut them apart for your heart. It'll take a bit to get you in. Astral energy! Full throttle!
Now!
Quite necessary when creating weaponry.
Hi, Hoodle!
Stay calm. I shall provide assistance.
Lightning orb!
Now you see what I can do!
Take it.
In the wind!
Resonate with the earth.
An astral bite?
That's my cue!
Shut him down! I'm not done! We've turned the tables on him!
There are still more left.
Right! No time to hold back! I'm not done!
Now!
Remote!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done! Go!
On your not again!
Mega ray!
Crush! Rising focus! Take this!
Blazing storm! A banana! Let's go! Haha! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Hi, Hoodle!
You're mine! Swallow blade!
I shall ensure you survive this.
Swallow blade! Slash! You're finished! Blazing storm!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
See you continue on in that vein.
Yes, my lady?
Something you wanted to say? We won that by a mile!
Let's dispose of the trash.
Take this!
I'm not come and face me! This one's all mine! Burn in hell!
I'm ready!
Now you see
It's
what
like
I can
trying to
do!
keep up with a wolf! Here's a healing art! This one's mine!
Swallow blade! Demon Fang! Slash! Demon Hit! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Now! You're mine!
Leave the enemy's arms to me!
You can play here!
Instant!
Demon Fang! Take this! I'm not done! Demon Fang!
Healing Circle!
You're mine!
Hope this works!
Resonate with the
Why'd you heal me?
Are you dying?
Ah, right.
I'm not... Demon Fang! Slash! Rising Warrior! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Now! Here I come! You're finished!
Begin!
Rising Falcon!
Supernova!
I'm not
Photon
done!
Flash!
Slash!
Now!
Demon Fang!
Raging Luna Storm!
Don't get careless.
design of this equipment is really interesting.
You must really like it, Alphen. More Danon ruins here too, I see.
What were people even thinking back then? Trying to build anything around here.
Maybe they just had that much time and energy on their hands. Hi, Noodle!
Ready to go! Fly! Swallow Blade! No further! Demon Fang! Swallow Blade! Rising Wyvern! And not done! Clear for a Rising Blaze of Fury! You're mine! Swallow Blade! Rising Wyvern!
Now!
Reload! Light Burst Force!
Radiant Genesis! You don't mess around!
You're mine!
Certainly not.
Elusive Deity! Demon Fang! Take it! I'm ready!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
With your flames and my technique,
We're stronger together than we are apart.
I sure have built up a sweat with this hike.
Rest assured, we have reached the top. It's all downhill from here. Quite... literally.
So Mahag Sar's just up ahead then?
Indeed. If you look, across this mountain is the Lord's Keep.
What's this place here? Some kind of old house?
I don't know about that. If I had to guess, it probably served as some kind of shrine.
Get lost!
Take this! Fly!
I
Swallow
never
Blade!
miss!
You're mine! Fly! Demon Fang! Try this! Totally! In an instant! Impact Block! We work well together.
Like a finely timed walk.
Thanks! Rising Wyvern! You escape!
None of them escape my judgment!
Clear for us again! Front!
Primed and ready!
Rising Wyvern!
Clear for us!
The enemy wields arts too.
We'll soon see about that! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Coming through!
Where are you going?
Not on my watch!
You're finished! Demon Fang!
Gale Force!
Rising Falcon!
Do it!
Totally! In an instant! Impact Block! We work well together.
Like a finely timed walk.
Rising Falcon! And Total Bullet!
Lightning
Strike! Swallow Blade! Rising Wyvern! Now! Here I come! You're finished! Demon Fang!
Do it!
Here I come!
Demons descend!
Flashing Fang!
My fists are crushing it out there!
Coming through!
Strike!
No further!
Raging Storm!
Ignite!
Begin!
Here I come! It's over!
Cutting your dreams!
Now you see what I can do!
Far enough! Freezing Storm!
Blue escape!
Raging Storm!
Try this!
I swear!
Total
This
Torrent!
one's mine!
Raging Lunar
This
Storm!
one's mine!
Here I come!
So I'm... Light Burst Force!
Radiant Genesis! You don't mess around!
Blue escape!
Certainly not.
It's over!
Lightning! More
Here I come! Flash! Demon Fang!
Do it!
Take this! How about this? Now I can
Summoning
let loose!
Ranger!
Shion!
This one's got your name on it!
Action to action!
Well then, let's keep moving.
An opponent like this should be easy.
Take
this! It's over! You're mine!
Take this! Bestow thy mystic mercy.
Ignite!
Leave the torches to me!
Don't suffer.
Thanks for the concern.
Simple repayment for a favor of...
I don't grant favors. And I don't accept them either.
It's over! Try harder! My turn!
Bestow thy mystic
You're
mercy.
finished! Demon Fang!
You attack without mercy.
Because I can't afford to hesitate.
Not against a worthy opponent.
You're more comfortable at a range, aren't you?
I'm not really built for close quarters combat.
Nor am I. Don't worry. I'll help you keep away.
Now! Frozen!
Hammer!
Lightning
Not a
contest!
chance! Ruin! Swallow Blade! Rising Wyvern! Strike! Begin! You're on!
Take this!
Raging Storm!
Do it!
Elusive deity!
Any injuries? That equipment should come in handy.
Let's see what you've got.
You picked the wrong fight!
Not in your dreams!
Here I come!
Whirling
Demon Fang!
Elusive deity!
Seal!
Take this!
Let's get you all tucked away!
Demon Fang!
Now! Law! Get toasty!
Burn Strike!
Dance in the wind!
Now!
Begin!
Take
If it's in the sky, it's
You're
mine!
finished!
Get on in there with the
Raging Luna Storm!
Now! You are in tip-top
My turn! Soon as I'm done here,
Now!
help out.
Up it, Frozen!
Hammer!
Barely a blip on our radar.
What's that big tower over there?
You guys want to rest here?
There are still so many creatures we don't know about.
Have you been writing stuff down about what we fight?
Yep. It's actually pretty fun to observe them from afar.
Mind if I join you, Law?
Oh, hey, Alphen. What's up?
Nothing. I was just surprised to see you weren't training for once. Got a stomachache or something?
You know I don't literally train around the clock, right? I do take breaks.
Do you? It seems like you're training every chance you get.
Well, yeah, it can't be helped if I want to get stronger. Still, it's important to let your muscles rest every now and then. That's what my dad told me anyway.
Zephyr said that?
When I was a little kid, yeah. I would get so excited whenever he came home. I always followed him wherever he went and tried to learn as much from him as I could. He said, it's good to be passionate, but don't overdo it. Just like there are times when you want to take a break from studying, sometimes your body wants to take a break from training too. I was always rushing around and forgetting to rest, so he ended up telling me that a lot.
That definitely sounds like him.
It's nothing to get sad over. Still, I can't help but wonder if that was my dad's way of teaching me the dangers of rushing into things too quickly. Then again, maybe I'm just overthinking things. I wish I'd had more time to talk to him about this kind of stuff. See you guys tomorrow. You guys ready to hit the road? I know I am.
Guess I misread the landing. Not this way, I guess. Not this way, I guess.
Retreat if you know what's good for you. Can't get out of this. It's over.
Annihilation! Serious blow!
Can you take it? It's over. Make the abyss.
I'm only getting started.
Swallow blade.
Lightning already!
Got fire.
Here goes! I've got this! Let a marksman handle it!
All yours.
To the wind!
Resonate with the earth.
Still out!
An astral march.
That's my cue!
You're mine. Shut him down. I'm ready. Swallow marcher. You finished. Rising contest. Raging Luna storm. Fly. I'm ready.
Long, get toasty!
Burn strike.
There!
Now.
Again!
It's over. Elusive being. Enough. Here I come.
Let's go! Where are you going?
Lewis kick. Demon fang. I'm ready.
Long! Demons descend!
Flashing bang. My turn. I'll make you. Pierce through. Sonic block. Elusive beam. Looks like we won. mine! Now you see what I can do!
I'll be saving this one!
Resonate with the earth! Swallow! Demon Stalagmite! I'm coming for you! Airborne scoundrel!
This sounds like a job for yours truly! Here goes! Do it! Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
I'm not done! Mirage! Everlasting! It's time!
Here you go!
Demon Fang!
This is it!
Air pressure! I'm ready! This could be useful.
Go no further!
You're mine! Fly!
Like if I do!
Demon Fang! You picked the wrong fight! Take it!
It's
Swallow Blade!
Here we go! Do it!
Take it! Totally! In an instant! Impact Block! We work well together.
Like
a finely
timed block. This one's mine!
Demon Fang! The enemy wields arc too.
We'll soon see about that! Very well! Astral energy! Full throttle!
Not a chance!
I can handle it!
Can you take it? You!
Far enough! Here goes! Our next
You're mine! Swallow Blade! Rising Wyvern! Rising Catapult!
Another lightning orb! Do it! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble! I shall ensure you survive this! You're finished! Rising Falcon!
Heal force! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood. Still thinking about how to act around Dohalim?
That obvious, huh? Except I don't think I'll be changing much after all. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stay his servant. However, I am going to treat him like a fellow comrade, the same way I would with you or anyone else. For as long as I can remember, I've spent my life protecting others. But isn't that what friends do too? Support and protect one another in times of need?
Which in the end pretty much means doing as you've always done, right? If that's what you're most comfortable with, I'm certainly not going to give you any grief over it.
Actually, I've been thinking about how I ought to act around you all as well.
Oh?
When I set out on this journey, it was to rid Eldaman and Sia of its enemies, and search for wisdom in the outside world. Wisdom that I could potentially put to use on my return. I'm grateful to you all for letting me tag along. But it got me thinking, what am I actually contributing by being here?
What are you talking about? You know how to hold a weapon, don't you? That's help enough.
Is it though? Sometimes I wish there was more I could be doing to pull my...
Oops, sorry about that. Jeez, I'm famished.
Now that you mention it, what do you guys normally do for food and meals when you're out and about on your travels?
What do you mean, what do we do? We find stuff to eat and eat it. So long as it's meat, I'm not fussy.
Eating what you like can be good for morale in the short term, but you need to think about your diet if you want to stay healthy.
Does that mean eating vegetables too?
Isn't that obvious?
It does, which I guess hasn't been happening up till now.
Yeah, to be honest, we could be eating better than we do.
Understood. In that case, I'll just have to make sure you're all staying healthy and eating right myself. Fortunately, I happen to know a thing or two about cooking as well.
You hear that, Law? Sounds like you'll be eating your greens after all.
What is it?
No, sorry, it's just... I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on all this.
It will do her good to have a project.
No, not Kisara. I meant you. Was there anything you wanted to add?
Me? Certainly you're not looking to me for culinary skill, I hope.
Typical Renan, leaving everything to someone else.
Rinwell, I don't think...
That said, should you need my skills on the battlefield, please rest assured I have no intention of shirking my responsibilities, regardless of who we may face.
I'm sure no one doubts that. Listen, guys, if we're traveling together, we should probably at least try to make an effort to get to know one another, don't you think?
I wouldn't get your expectations too high in that regard. Believe it or not, sometimes I'm not sure I even know myself all that well.
Something wrong? You look like you're deep in thought.
Not exactly. I was merely thinking about you two and your sense of etiquette.
Oh?
Etiquette?
Indeed. To be quite frank, I find your lack of manners to be nigh intolerable.
That's not being frank, that's being and forget it. Do we really need to talk about this now?
Yes, I find such impropriety on your parts to be deeply unsettling. It concerns me greatly.
What do you want us to do? We were slaves. We never got to learn how to be proper like you.
Yeah, what he said. Maybe you missed how we were just focused on surviving.
Perhaps, but Kisara here demonstrates that it's quite possible for a Denon to learn proper manners.
That's because I was given the opportunity to learn. Moreover, my duties as a guardsman required it. Not every realm is like Menancia, as you well know.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to hold us to some other city standards.
Exactly. You've got to remember what it's been like for us living under the Rena elsewhere.
I will concede that you do indeed make a valid point. It would appear, for all my espousing the virtues of equality between our peoples, I was still looking down on the two of you.
You don't need to beat yourself up. I wasn't that offended by what you said, man.
Nevertheless, I shall mind my words from here on out. Having said that, I do believe you two would still benefit from learning the basics of proper society. I would be more than happy to teach you both when we camp out, if you like.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. Acting all prim and proper isn't really my style.
If you say so. How about you, Law? Would you like to learn? Although I suppose my first task is to reform your attitude toward the idea of good etiquette.
You're not gonna let this go, are you?
Hey, let's stop for a minute.
What's up? You already tired?
My armor's pretty heavy. I think I need a little rest.
I second that. All of this walking is starting to take its toll on me as well.
What? You don't look it.
We can't spare the time. There's places we need to be. Mahag Sar's capital, Niez, is our destination right now.
But if one of us collapses, it will only serve to slow us down. And in your case, Alphen is the only one who could carry you. Best to rest while you have the opportunity.
Enough already. I need a break, so we're taking one.
I don't need you fretting over me.
Fretting? Hey, it's not like I'm...
Been looking for you.
For me, why?
He's tough.
Who are you? Said you were looking for me. Why?
Beautiful, precious life.
What the...
That is all I desire.
Then why are we fighting? Who even are you?
Can't get out of this!
You're mine!
Begin!
Take this! Demon Fang!
Resonate with the earth!
Who the hell are you? Bastard!
This guy's not normal.
Speed is unbelievable.
You mean he even surpasses a lord?
Not a chance!
Where are you going?
I'm not done! Slash!
Not on my watch!
Swallow Blade!
Elusive deity!
Into the shadows!
Take this.
Deny!
Mega Ray!
Enjoy.
Now you see what I can do!
You're mine!
Take this.
Dimension light! Burning Glacial Spear! Pierce evil!
You're mine!
Freeze Lancer!
Begin!
Lightning Serenity! Healing
Enjoy.
Dance in the
I'm
wind!
grateful. Did you just heal me?
Yes,
I'll be
I need
saving
you, remember?
Swallow Blade! Burn!
Show me your strength.
Wide open!
It won't escape me!
Try this!
Can you take this?
Here, let me
Take
help.
this.
This is looking good!
Enjoy.
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil!
Die. No further!
Freeze Lancer! Light!
Is that all that you've got? Very well. Then die. A wretch like you? Till next time.
Shion, wake up, please!
Alphen,
Shion!
thanks, but you're kinda crushing me.
Sorry.
It's okay. And so am I. It's not as bad as it looks.
Not bad. That's... Shion, we thought
I'm
you were...
fine. Really.
What the hell were you thinking?
Well, you were trying to protect me too, you know.
Yeah, but I have the sword. It's different.
It's not different. Besides,
Hmm?
Never mind. It's nothing. Anyway, thank you.
But I didn't... Look, I'm just glad that you're...
Alphen?
Sorry.
That guy said he'd be back. I think maybe we should get moving before he returns, right?
Rinwell has a good point. We need to go. Shion, are you sure you're okay?
Shion, are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, I already applied some healing arts to it. It didn't even leave a scar.
But his sword went nearly straight through you.
I'm all right. Unless I've turned into some kind of ghost and I'm haunting you all right now.
No, I know you're not. It's just...
Look, I appreciate you looking out for me, but I'm fine, really.
There was also that strange light that appeared when Shion was stabbed. It seemed to make the enemy retreat when he saw it. Alphen, do you have any idea what it might have been?
A light? I don't know. I was kind of preoccupied with other things at the time.
Now that I think of it, between that light and the blazing sword, just what sort of person are you, Alphen? Can you use Danon astral arts like Rinwell, perhaps?
He wouldn't know, Dohalim. He doesn't have any memories from his past, remember? Besides, we should really be getting out of here.
I suppose you're right. Forgive me. We've almost reached Niez, the capital of Mahag Sar. With any luck, we'll find a place there for Shion to rest.
Hey.
How are you holding up after that last fight? You're not too hurt, are you?
I'm fine, really. See for yourself.
If things get too tough out there, go ahead and fall back. I can take a beating if I need to.
I'm not here just to stand around and have everyone protect me.
I get that, but there's nothing wrong with admitting you have weaknesses too.
Do I look like I'm just trying to put on a brave face to you?
I can't feel pain, but you still can, can't you?
Look, I appreciate you're trying to look out for me, but even you go down in fights from time to time. Please, stop trying to babysit me. It's getting old.
It's not that. I just...
Are we in the right place? This place looks like a mess.
Yes, this is Niez, the capital of Mahag Sar.
I don't see any signs of people. And the buildings.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like the kind of place people would actually live.
No soldiers, no Danons, not a soul to be seen. Yet look at these facades. This is clearly a Renin district.
Hey, check out that drawing on the castle gate. That's the Darkwing's crest. It's from an old Danon legend about a hero who defeated an evil king with a torch and their trusty owl. That's his crest. I'm sure of it.
Really? First time I'm hearing it. So if someone drew it on the gate...
It must mean the Renins have lost control of the city.
Are you suggesting the Danons rose up and defeated the Lord here? Hard to believe, but not entirely unthinkable, given the evidence.
Let's look around and see if we can find someone. They might be able to tell us what happened. This is horrible.
Is there truly no one here?
All of these ruins look like they were made pretty recently.
But if that's the case, then where do you think the people that used to live here went off to? There must have been Danans and Renans, right?
That's a good question. Even if the Danans rebelled and managed to overthrow the Renans here, there should still be some people around.
This debris. Do you think it could be the work of Renan astral arts?
Perhaps, but the appearance of these ruins is rather uniform, which leads me to believe otherwise.
Hey, Rinwell. That story you told us about the Dark Wings. It said that the evil king was vanquished with a holy flame, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Then there might be some truth to that old story after all. It looks like all the rubble here had been scarred by flames.
Let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. If we can find someone around here, we might be able to get them to tell us what happened. Dohalim, you forgot to take care of the fire yesterday.
What do you mean, take care of? Ah, yes. You meant to put it out?
Yep. If it stays lit, we could end up in real trouble real fast.
I see. I apologize for not realizing that. I shall be more careful in the future.
The way he's talking, it's like the thought of putting it out himself never even occurred to him.
Moving on, Dohalim, I should mention that the clasp for your cape is about to come undone.
Oh yes, I tried to fix that myself, but it simply refused to cooperate with me.
I can't believe I'm hearing this. Are you telling me Renans can't even dress themselves?
Lords like Dohalim have attendants that take care of just about everything they need, so I'm not surprised he sometimes struggles with the basics.
Even by those standards, you've got to admit this is still a little extreme.
Shionna's got a point. I mean, you don't see Renans like her needing so much help to get stuff done.
In my case, circumstances forced me to learn how to be independent. Even so, I still think Dohalim could afford to pick up a few more self-sufficient skills.
Well, specifically speaking, what would you suggest that I learn?
For starters, I think it'd be good for you to learn how to dress. And put on shoes. How to comb your hair is equally important. And learning to manage your possessions better. And then from there...
She sounds like his mom rattling all that off.
Oh, and another thing. About your owl, Rinwell.
What is it?
When he starts to molt, would you be willing to give me his old feathers? I think I could find a use for them.
What do you intend to do with those?
Well, recently, I haven't been sleeping well. However, I hear pillows made from owl feathers are very comfortable and wish to make one.
This is why I hate you, Renans!
Did I say something offensive?
Next time, put your own needs aside for a second and think about how someone might react first. Then consider if it's worth asking at all.